Okay, we are rolling back live here at FPA NorCal with Kelli Cruz from Cruz Consulting. Kelli, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you bet. I was looking forward to this. I know you spoke earlier today. Heard some great things about your presentation. Unfortunately, I had to miss it as I've been doing this kind of all day. But I'm glad I'm getting a little one-on-one sneak preview, or not preview, but post-view, I guess, for what you talked about.
Yeah.
So what do you specialize in? I know we were talking off camera more like staffing. Is that right?
That's right, yes. So I work specifically with independent advisory firms, which is why I'm here in my own backyard with FPA NorCal. I love this conference. It's great. Been very good to me over the years. And I love working with RIAs. I choose to work with them, and I help them around the talent management aspect of hiring, attracting talent to the team, growing the talent, compensating, succession planning, all of that. So that's what I do. Today we talked about compensation and did a deep dive into long-term incentives.
Okay, that sounds good. So everything we talk about here at goRIA, right, answers one of two questions. How can I go RIA? And perhaps even before that, should I go RIA? And as we were talking a bit off camera, I thought you had some pretty good points on perhaps what some of these advisors are not thinking about when they're going RIA in regards to staffing. Why don't you share that with us?
Sure. And one thing that I remembered I didn't share with you is I worked at Schwab Advisor Services back, I'm going to date myself, back in 2007. And one of the initiatives I worked on was helping advisors deciding if they want to go independent. And one of the things that we did was we actually created a roadshow around human capital talent management to better provide information about, well, the first thing you're going to need if you decide to start up your own shop is you're going to need to hire probably one or two folks to help you, and maybe even bringing folks with you when you get yourself set up. And how to structure the roles, how to compensate is a pretty basic work that needs to get done. So I think one of the things that is exciting about starting your own firm is getting to choose the people you get to work with every day and who's going to provide that awesome experience directly to clients. Yeah.
One thing, because it just struck a memory for me real quick, is this was maybe about 2 years ago. And I was having just a great week at work. It was a Friday, and I was having a glass of wine with my wife, and I was like, man, I am so fortunate that I really love everyone I work with. And you know what she said? She said, you hired each one of them.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I hired them, I liked them. And I never really kind of connected those dots.
Right.
But when you're at a big firm, you get what you get, and you can't get upset.
That's
so I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. The opportunity to recruit. One of the things we do help our clients with is we all know we have a bias to kind of hire people that remind us of ourselves. But looking at sort of the strengths that you have, right, that advisors have, and how to round out that team as you do bring folks on board. Like who has a different set of strengths than you do that helps complement. I know I have some people that work with me, and they have different skill sets than I do and different strengths. And together we really present something that on my own I wouldn't be able to do.
Well, that's the definition of a team, right?
Right.
You can't have everyone being a point guard, right, to use a
Right.
basketball reference.
Right.
It would not be that great. You can't have everyone being a center,
Right.
which is amazing for me to use a basketball analogy because I'm not really a huge sports fan.
Well, I am.
So a lot of my friends in the audience are like, is he using a sports analogy? Wow, that's unlike Chuck.
Well, anyone that knows me is like, wow, he must have done some research on Kelli. I'm a huge sports fan.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm hoping those T-Wolves pull another one out, Timberwolves, but we'll see.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for clarifying that for me. Okay, good stuff. So, we don't have too much time left, but I do want to leave the audience with some specificity. So what you've given us so far is great, but what is maybe one or two things that these advisors that are looking to go independent and they need to staff up, one or two things they really have to keep in mind?
Sure. So I think first and foremost is who do they know that they may need to help them get set up, and can they bring that person over, or do they need to start networking? The best way to find talent is talk to everybody you know, and it's going to most likely be somebody who knows somebody who can refer that person to you. So understanding what you need and then getting the word out. And to the point you're making, it's like it's so exciting to be able to put your own team together and embrace that, figure out what you really need, know what you're good at, what you're not so good at, and hire for that role in that person that is really going to help you build capacity.
I think that's great. And one thing I'm going to add on to that, because we're here at FPA NorCal, and I'm a huge fan of conferences, especially good conferences like NorCal is. I mean, this place is legendary. They've been doing it for 52 years, which I know only because I was talking to Michael Kitsis yesterday. I was like, wow, I know they've been doing this for a while. The reason why I bring this up to kind of piggyback on your thought there is you got to go to conferences.
Yes.
If you're looking to do anything in any industry, I'll speak to our industry. If you're looking to go RIA, come to these conferences.
Absolutely.
Talk to the people that have done it. If you're looking for staff, lots of people here, great networking opportunities, and you can find some people here as well.
Yep.
So good. You have one more for us?
Well, I do. Just to follow up on that, there are interns that come to these conferences. The gentleman at lunch was telling me that he bumped into somebody networking here at NorCal FPA, and he's found his contingency plan. His wife has been so concerned about this, and he said, I get to go home tonight and tell her, hey, I found somebody.
George, don't come home until you have a contingency plan. Okay.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, that seems like a great place to end it for today.
Absolutely.
Kelli, thanks so much for joining me on this.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
Okay, real good. And so for those of you in the audience, we have one more to go. So stay with us. I'll be back in about one more hour. I've been talking for 2 days. Let me get my words out in one more hour with our last segment for today here at FPA NorCal. We'll see you soon.